Lesson 8.7, Circumference and Area of Circles. So what's the shape to the right called? Well, obviously it's a circle. Can you define a circle? I can. I don't know about you. It's all the points equally distanced from a center point in a plane. Same definition without the words in a plane gets you what we call a sphere, three-dimensional circle. So what do we call A? Well, that's the center. What do we call AB? Well, that's the equal distance that you go all the way around the circle with. And we call that the radius. And what do we call CF? Well, that's 2 radius. And we call that a diameter. So it's just some definitions. What do we call the length around the outside? If it was a pizza crust, it would be the, if it was a pizza, it would be the pizza crust. We call it the circumference. Which is a circle's perimeter. Simple enough. So I keep saying don't memorize formulas, just, memorize 1 or 2 and then go crazy with everything else, but we don't have a choice. Area of a circle is pi r squared. R is the radius, A is the area. This pi thing is very mysterious. It's always the same number and it goes on forever and never repeats. More on that later. Circumference is 2 pi r. Again, that's the perimeter around the outside. And r again is the radius. Some people say, well, wait, if it's twice the radius, why not just make it the diameter? And you could, but I don't recommend it. A lot of the trickiness of the problems is that we give you diameter, and we expect you to figure out the radius and then apply it from there. So I always strongly highlight the radius so that people remember. So we have a circle with a radius of, diameter of 9 inches. So we know that the radius is 4.5 inches. And then we just quickly blast out area is pi times 4.5 inches squared. And this causes all sorts of problems. People want to multiply pi out. And we will often, but often we will not. So just leave pi in the answer. 20.25 pi. Circumference is 2 pi r, where r is 4.5. That equals 9 pi inches. Circumference is linear. So you can also go backwards. What's the radius of a circle with area of 49 pi meters squared? So we know the area is pi r squared. We know it's 49 pi meters squared. So if we want to figure that out, we just divide out the pi. We get r squared equals 49. Take the square root of both sides. R equals 7 meters. Lots of problems like that, turning it forwards and backwards. By the way, there's nothing magical about pi always being on the top. It usually is. But it could be on the bottom. You can multiply it out. You can divide it out. It's just a number. It's an irrational, but still a number. So like I said, do we multiply pi out? Not usually. If we have a real problem, wheels turning, we want to know how much rubber's on it or something like that, then usually yes, because I don't want to order 22 pounds of rubber or something like that. So a real life problem. If it's just some random circle like I've been giving you so far, leave behind the answer. If it's a real life problem, multiply it out. So now this big question I got, what's the area of the sector shown below in yellow? This area here. So what is that area? How would you figure it out? Well, most people are pretty smart about this. Say, well, it's just half the circle, which we know is pi r squared, in this case 10 squared. So the area is 50 pi units squared. Well, that's slick, but what if I gave you this one where I just want 120 degrees? We use this a lot in the field of engineering and other areas where we have to just get part of it. Well, I know that the area of a circle is pi r squared, and in this case 10 squared, and that's for a full 360 degrees. But if I only want 120 degrees, then I just ratio it down. And I say, just give me 1/3 of that, which is 120 over 360. So we get pi over 3 times 10 squared, also known as 100 pi over 3 units squared. So that was a little tricky. You're going to have to practice that, make sure you know what you're doing. But just scale it down by however many degrees there are. I'll put it as a formula for you, and that's a sector area. It's not the whole circle. So you use area of a sector. It is x, the number of degrees, over 360 degrees times pi times r squared. And I'll give you plenty of practice on that one. That's it. Good luck.